Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on? What's going on? Y'all about to get in here. 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 What's up with y'all? Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Share it live. Subscribe wherever you're watching from, wherever you are watching at this moment. Do yourself a favor and share, or do the world a favor. Do the world a favor and share. Subscribe, follow, turn on your notifications. When I start running my mouth, you should be available to hear it. I would not lie to you guys. I'm bringing political truths that you don't hear anywhere else. Also, I'm talking about what it means to be black in these United States in these this year, 20 and 26 of our Lord. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody everywhere. What's up with y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Let's go. Let's go. I want to talk about something. I got one topic. I want to talk about. And I'm not saying that it's not being, people haven't mentioned it on national media. I'm not saying that, whatever. All I'm saying is I haven't heard anybody articulating from a real black standpoint of what the H is going on with the case in Texas. And what if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've been under a rock, if you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, I'm talking about how Carmelo Anthony got an all-white jury and how it is statistically impossible for them to end up with an all-white jury unless you are considering the role white supremacy play in our justice system and the fact that race neutrality is a bad idea when we're talking about anything that is as important as justice or equity. Let me get into it. So for people who don't know about Carmelo Anthony, you must have been on a rock. But let's be clear. I think everybody knows what happened. We're talking about last year in April. I think it was the beginning of April. This kid, Carmelo Anthony, it became a national flashpoint. People talking about, they just call him a murderer and a thug. Not the fact that he was being harassed, bullied by two white guys. And he reacted and stabbed one of them. He was charged with first-degree murder. Even though there's detailed record of him being bullied, detailed records of him being bullied by these kids, being bullied at that game. Think about that. Bullied, this kid was being bullied. He defended himself. And then he got charged with first-degree murder. First-degree murder. Not manslaughter, first-degree murder. So, let's fast forward to the point where we are now. How in the hell, in a town where this happened in Texas, but it happened in Collin County, Texas, where about more than 10% of the population is black. More than 10% of the population is black. That means you would think that 10% of the people that have been summoned to report to jury duty would have been black. 10% of the people should have been reported, right? But when you have race neutrality, when you're not intentional about ensuring that the juries are diverse in any way, this is how you end up with a statistically impossible all-white jury. What do I mean by being statistically impossible? Well, think about it. If the population is 10.8, 10.9, just say 11%, which it is, right? That I'm talking about black. It is damn near impossible. It is like 0.6% likely that you can end up with a jury that is all white. 99.4% of the times, you're supposed to have somebody black on this jury. But they came up with the opportunity with the time, this one instance, where we have nobody black. Let me tell you how we got there. Because it's more than one strike zone. By strike zone, I mean, more than one place and how they got rid of black people. So like I said, when they summoned the jury, They don't just summon the number of people they need. We know it's 12 jurors, and then they usually have 18. 12 jurors plus 6 alternates. But that's not even where they start. They start at a higher number because they know they're going to kick some people out. Some people are going to have reasons that they can't do it, religious reasons, or they've seen something about the case. They feel a certain way about convicting people to murder or to life in prison, whatever. So they started with the number. Listen to this. I think the number was 600 people. 600 people. So if they started with 600 people, at least 50 of those people should have been black. 50 of those people should have been black. Right? Think about that. 600. I'm on the low end because 10% of 600 is 60. I'm just talking about what statistics tell us, what we know should have happened, should have been the reality. Right? That's what it should have been. But then, of course, the judge, like I said, they dismiss people. They do these questionnaires. People write in. People talk about whatever they talk about. I can't afford to miss work. That's a hardship or financial hardship. I don't have child care. I can't have child care for the entire jury duty, right? Like I said, another thing is, I've seen the viral videos about this. I'm too vested in my opinion about this case, or I could never send an 18-year-old to prison for life or something. All of those things will get you kicked out. So you get rid of hundreds of people. That's the first way that they get rid of people. And because they are talking about race neutral, this is how it becomes racist. This is why I tell people, when you tell me you don't see color, when you tell me you are race neutral, I'm telling you are acting in a way that is anti-black. Because to be race neutral is to say that you are okay with white supremacy. Let me explain what I'm saying. You're saying race neutral. Race neutrality creates these spaces. When you treat all jurors the same, when you should have had 50 or 60 black jurors, when you treat them just like the hundreds of white people that responded, you are damn near in ensuring that you will never have a jury of our peers. And I know that's not constitutional. What the language says, it says an impartial jury, but that's the same damn thing. And I'm not naive. I know that jury of our peers don't mean that you have a right to black people on a jury. You have a right to people your age. It means people in the demographic. But if you want to be serious about what it means demographically, we still live in a segregated society. So I bet you if you looked at the demographics like close local, nobody from his community is represented on this jury. These are all problems with race neutrality. The idea that race neutral makes it equitable is ridiculous in these United States. You actually put black people's lives in jeopardy, just like this kid's life is, right? You come up with panels, jury panels that are statistically damn near impossible to exist when you are race neutral. So like I said, you go from 600 or whatever big number they had to this smaller number, right? So and you're at 45 or 50 people left. 45 or 50 people. So we would think that means 4 or 5 people statistically should be black in this case. 4 or 5 at least should have been black if we were being serious about race and not race neutral, setting black people up for these situations. That was not the case in this trial. In this trial, 3 black people remained after this strike zone. 3. All 3 of them were women. All 3 of them were women, black women. And you know what the prosecutor did in this case? Do you know what the prosecutor did in this case? He used his preemptive strikes to get rid of all 3 of the black women. All 3 of them. The last 3 black people that could have been a part of this jury were all stricken. Think about that. Just because they were black. Of course, the prosecutor didn't say that because that would be illegal. That's called the Batson. That was a case in Kentucky or Kansas, one of the case states. I think it was Kentucky, I'm certain. Back in the 80s, 90s. Anyway, way before I was able to articulate legal thought. Anyway, 80s in Kentucky. Don't beat me up if I'm wrong, if it was Kansas and it was the 90s, but I think it was the late 80s. Anyway, the Batson Challenge says the defense can rule against or challenge the striking of people of color, black people particularly, if the only reason that the prosecutor got rid of these people is because of their race. And then it's up to the prosecutor to tell you, to defend or say a reason other than race why they got rid of these people. Mind you, it's three people that was three women that were preemptively tackled and got rid of. So when the defense raised the Batson Challenge, that's Batson, I'm country, so don't get upset. That's Batson. When they raised that challenge, the prosecutor did this. Their reason was, oh, the three black women were teachers. They teach at school. They can't. We don't want teachers. We don't want teachers involved in this. We don't want teachers to have a say. Their logic of getting rid of the only three black potential jurors was that they were teachers. And because the stabbing happened at a school, they didn't want teachers involved. Okay, we'll roll with that. Except for, guess what? There was a white woman who was also in this pool that was a teacher, and she didn't get excluded. They didn't preemptively attack her candidacy to be a juror. And then when that was brought up and pointed out, guess what they said? Oh no, she don't teach at a regular school. She's an esthetician. She teaches adults at a trade school. So it's not about teachers. It's about public school teachers. It's bullshit. It's about them being black women, and they want to make sure that this case is stacked against this young man. That's what it's about. And then you know what the damn jury did? I mean, the judge. His name is John Roach. John Roach Jr., which means he's the second Roach. He ain't the first Roach. He's the second Roach, and he acted just like a damn Roach. And he overruled the defense Batson Challenge and allowed for this all-white jury to be seated. He allowed for this all-white jury to seat. And we know that white people in America, not all of them, but I'm talking about those who are likely to be participating in this case with malice, with the malice intent. They see black boys as inherently evil, bigger, older, more criminal. And this is history, ingrained history that is as American as white supremacy and apple pie. So we are not screaming loud enough. We don't have mechanisms in place to be protecting this young man. This is the problem that we are dealing with when we see that black boys are endangered. An all-white jury in Collin, Texas is 99.4% unlikely, yet it is what we're dealing with at this moment. It is unlikely. Now, I know a jury of your peers does not mean you are owed a jury with black people on it. It is, though, to say that demographically you are to be represented. It is also why we need to be stronger and updating our laws in a way that they reflect what our lived experiences are. You cannot be in America and not pretend that you don't understand. I did a live about this the other day. I need you guys to check this out. Talking about what it means to be black male in this moment. How Chow and his wife and his son got off for killing Cyrus in South Carolina. So I'm telling you all, we cannot be silent. We cannot be putting our young boys in positions, NAACP, to say jeopardize your future, sacrifice your college to defend this system that's killing you, actively trying to get rid of you. We can no longer sit silent as if what's happened with Carmelo is a single case. This is systemic. This does not happen unless there's breeding ground for this. Why is Judge Roach not uncomfortable seating an all-white jury to try this young black man? Because it is normal. It is America. We should all be afraid for Carmelo Anthony's life. He is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. We know that is not for black boys. We are guilty until locked up for being guilty, even when we are innocent. This is not a situation where the deck is stacked against you. It is a situation where you don't have a hand to play because you are black, and especially black male in this United States, especially in his age range. We've heard presidential candidates say that people his age were super predators, even though he was being bullied, and we know it. Black boys don't have an inherent right to self-defense. People don't see black boys who defend themselves as acting constitutional, even in a state like Texas. We don't get to cry self-defense as black boys and black men because this country don't see you having a right to defend yourself. You are to be owed and told. And I don't see why people want black men or blame black men for not participating in a political system that is not addressing these problems. Y'all want black men to show up and act like every other demographic when we are suffering uniquely in this country, and your politics aren't fixing it. Your politics aren't fixing our problems. Yet you want us to continue on as if this Cyrus continuation of shit that's been happening since Emmett Till, before Emmett Till, and now y'all want us to act as if it doesn't affect us. Epigenetic trauma applies to everybody except for black men. Yo, we gotta be serious. Daniel, I miss all of you all from the TYT family. I wish people would have followed me over here to YouTube. I love you. I love all of the people who are committed to progressive ideas that are truly progressive, that don't leave people behind, like politicians who don't just take a knee with kente cloth, but actually do policies that are kente type policies that support the most vulnerable amongst us. And I left TYT because I felt that change, that very change that you're talking about, happening at the top of the rings, and I couldn't be there in good conscience. So it's good to see you. I'm glad you're over here. Please let people know that I am on YouTube. I'm over here, and I'm still running my damn mouth about what's true and what's not. Listen, y'all, I'm serious about this. I came up here to talk about this singular topic. This is not something small. This is not a one-off. You cannot race neutral your answer to why we have an all-white jury in this case. This is not a county that does not have black people. Black people are about 11% of the population, and not a single black person is on that jury. That ain't race neutral. Even if you're trying to say it's race neutral, how? If race neutral gets you all white, then it ain't race neutral. There's a flaw in your system. So we should be thinking about, we should be developing ways to address this as soon as we're back in power, if ever. We've because I don't know what this president is going to do about elections and election results. If he's going to seat Congresses, if he's going to allow people, if he's going to reward the J6ers and let them do whatever they did the last time, this time, but go further. We don't know. And anybody pretending that it's not a reality or a possibility, then you're living in fanciful world, a world that does not make sense or does not match up to what our reality is, because we see a president. And I'm tired of people talking about we don't have kings in the United States when we have a fucking king in Donald Trump. His title might not be king, but he's behaving like a king. He's getting away with shit that kings get away with. So I live in the reality, not of titles, but of in actions. The man tore down the east wing of the White House, and y'all ain't did nothing about it. The man is jacking up the aesthetics of the National Mall, and you so-called patriots that said don't tread on me ain't doing a damn thing about it. This man is trying to still elect future elections, and y'all ain't doing nothing about it. Don't tell me America doesn't have a king when I'm looking at it. You want me to unbelieve what I'm watching. Don't believe my lying eyes. And all of this sounds like noise and like it's disconnected, but it's not disconnected. When mediocrity can be rewarded to the level that it is with Donald Trump, and then someone as important as this 18-year-old child's life is about to be snuffed out by an all-white jury. How? You make it make sense. You make it make, or I'll do you one better. Since we're talking about race neutral, tell me in a county that has majority black people, the time when a white boy was on trial for murder and it was an all-black jury. Point to that case in American history. Point to any case in American history where there are majority black counties, where the county has majority of the population black, and there's been a time where a white boy was on trial for murder and the entire jury was black, since it's race neutral. Surely if it happened in Texas, it can happen in Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, and North Carolina in the opposite, right? We should have instances of this happening for majority black counties with black people. I need y'all to understand and help me understand that. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense for me. I don't know what we got going on. Huh? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Think about that. I'm listening. Huh? We sitting here right now doing whatever, acting as if shit is not normal. Without knowing. We just watched the Senate pass that 7. I see you catch my whiff. I see the money. They're talking about the slush fund. Huh? What? We ain't gonna talk about that? They codified this 1.8 billion. The Senate voted to pass that, along with 70 billion for ICE. Don't tell me Donald Trump ain't acting like a king or getting what he wants. Don't tell me America's so-called guardrails are gone. Donald Trump is bowling with America's democracy without guardrails. And instead of him throwing them straight down the alley at the pins, he's throwing it sideways down to everybody's fucking alley. Doing what he please. And y'all out here just sitting, pretending that everything is normal. No, the Senate said no limits. So even if 1.8 billion now, Donald Trump has the right in this shit that the Senate just voted on. Donald Trump has the right to make it even more. It has no limits. No limits. You got hardworking Americans who don't even get a tax break. And now Donald Trump and the Republicans, Senate Republicans, are setting up a fund to fund traitors. This is 2026 version of Confederate monuments. This is Donald Trump and this Republican Senate just became the 21st century daughters of the Confederacy. This act by itself. This anti-weaponization fund is a weaponization fund. It's weaponizing anybody who truly cares about America, because we are funding those who committed treachery. That is not hyperbole. These people were convicted of high treason. And the Senate just voted as if they weren't hiding and under desk. Most of them were in office, were at the Capitol when this happened, scared for their lives. Lindsey Graham, Cassidy, all of these people were there. And I know Cassidy tried to kill it. It's still his party. You don't get to be called a hero from me simply because you do the right thing now. Y'all being silent, talking about Republicans being silent, led us to this moment. We got here because of y'all inaction. Y'all allowed for this mess in your party to exist. Race neutral is a cop-out. It's more than a cop-out. Race neutral is it's a new way for them not only to not address the real issue, it's a way to ensure that racism has a play in our judicial system. And that's all I'm talking about here. Republicans are a way to ensure that racism has a play in our electoral system, in our healthcare system, in our finance system. Donald Trump, it is illegal for the IRS to look into Donald Trump's books, according to the Republicans now. The Justice Department said so. They cannot. In what world is that? In what world is that? They're acting as if the person who released Donald Trump's taxes illegally, the contractor, isn't in prison. That person's in federal prison. And he ain't doing anything that no other president. He simply shared what every other president in modern time has shared. Donald Trump just didn't want to share his. And we know why. We know why. So yeah, I mean, this race neutral idea, this is why I'm so frustrated whenever I hear people say, oh, I don't believe in race, or I don't see race. Like, I'm always, whenever I hear people saying I don't see race, it is a horrible, to me, I have a visceral reaction to that statement simply because it tells me you don't see me and the problems that I live through simply because of my skin color, even though I didn't set up the systems that are plaguing me. So telling me that you don't see race, it's not a helpful thing. It's disgusting. What's happening to Carmelo Anthony in Texas is disgusting. The fact that Black people ain't screaming about it is disgusting. The fact that the NAACP, and I keep talking about the NAACP because this is the largest, allegedly, member Black organization in this country. And they're not screaming about this, but they're screaming about putting pressure on young Black boys to not go to colleges, certain colleges. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then they got their so-called famous folk out here running their mouths. Let me say something, and I don't want nobody to be offended by this, but I'm gonna mean every word of it. If you ain't a Black man, I don't care who you are. Black women, white men, stop acting like you can have the right to speak on our shit. You don't speak for us. Just like Black men shouldn't be speaking on behalf of Black women unless you're supporting an idea that Black women told you to support. Don't be out here trying to break news or act like you are a voice of authority on Black men. If you are offended by that, then you are the problem. It's time out on everybody getting to speak on behalf of Black men, and we can't even speak on our own behalf, let alone for other demographics, even though we support other people's issue more than they do sometimes. What are you talking about, Mundell? Well, shit, I'll tell you. What percentage, name an election where the percentage of white women or any other women outperform Black men voting for the Democratic candidates. You can't, which means Black men support women's right to choose and women's rights issues because we know what Republicans are showing up as more than any other demographic other than Black women. And then in Ohio in 2023, when the only issue, when it was separated, when women's right to choose was on the ballot, nobody outperformed Black men. Not even Black women. We outperformed Black women by 8 percentage points, and that was the closest demographic to us for women's right to choose. So I'm tired of people speaking on behalf of Black men. If you ain't a Black man, that's a Black man, don't speak on our behalf. So notice I said, if you ain't a Black man, that's a Black man. That means if you are a Black man out here speaking shit that the party told you to speak, that the consultant class told you to speak, that you feel comfortable saying so you can continue to get your check, keep that shit to yourself. Because you ain't doing shit to help our demographic. You ain't doing a damn thing that's going to move us forward and get us out of this position we're in. Stop speaking on behalf of Black men when you don't represent anybody that's not a part of your fraternity or a part of some social group that you're a part of, or some exclusive money group or cigar lounge you go to. I'll say it again. You can't show me an election where a significant majority, any majority of black men have participated. Y'all goofy. What's up, Rashida? Y'all goofy as hell out here acting as if you speak on behalf of black men. You don't. Y'all goofy, dog. Y'all ain't got no motherfucking facts to back up none of the work, the so-called work you did. So what you had Common come to an event? So what you connected to well-moneyed people, and you could call Steve Harvey, or you could call goofy ass D.L. Hewley. So what if you got the number to Barack Obama? I'm talking about black men that speak on behalf of black men and for black men. And whether you know it or not, or if you feel uncomfortable saying it, I'll say it out loud for you. D.L. Hewley, Steve Harvey, Stephen A. Smith, Joe Rogan. Somebody said that shit earlier. None of those Negroes speak on behalf of the majority of black men. Period. 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 And if that gets your panties in a wad, take a shower. Take a shower, because black men are dying. Carmelo Anthony has an all-white jury, and we have no ramifications to stop it. And the largest social justice organization supposedly in this country, NAACP, is telling people to fucking protest football. That's your strategy? That's your political strategy in 2026? Protest football? In 2026, that's what you got? With tens of millions of dollars, the only strategy you can come up with, you got consultants doing polls, and all y'all came up with is tell the poorest black men in our demographic to support, to give up that opportunity? And you ain't even do it in a thoughtful way. You ain't think to do it in December or February when it was announcement day, when it was commitment day. You talking about do it now, 3-4 weeks before the season began, when all the scholarships are already obligated or spoken for. So you trying to send these boys out here with no opportunity. What the hell is wrong with y'all? What are y'all doing? Black boys are dying. 14, 18. It's multiple deaths. We die at multiple deaths. We die 1,000 deaths in this system. As early as preschool, we become targets at rates that are unmatched by any demographic, all the way up to our early lives. And what I mean by our early lives, we die younger than anybody else in this country. We die younger than anybody else in the developed world. We die younger than anybody in most countries in the world. You got to go to places like South Sudan to find somebody with a shorter life than black men in the United States. And you're going to tell me that black men are supposed to carry on in your stupid ass elections as if everything is okay. Don't blame black men for the fault of your billions of dollars being misspent with white consultants, or black men who act like white consultants, or black people who show up like white consultants. Take that traditional ass tactic and stuff it. Don't one more person criticizing black men and I'm going ham. I'm over that shit. Y'all don't do enough for black men to criticize black men. None of y'all. Your plans are tacky. Going to the barbershop with white people and cameras, acting like you did outreach. Doing concerts with rappers who sell most of their rapping tickets to white people. Y'all don't even know who the fuck Rod Wave is. Who's probably the only person who's filling his concert, the only rapper, professional rapper, who's filling his concert with black people. Or Lil Boosie, who y'all are goofy. You don't know how to reach the culture because you're not a part of the culture. You just happen to be wearing black skin today. And you so comfortable, you make white people feel so comfortable that you're afraid to be an acquired taste. You're afraid to tell the truth because you're afraid you won't have a seat or an invite to said table. Not realizing that just because you're at that table, that is not enough. Your invite is not enough. It's as disgusting as the point when Jay-Z said, I'm here. I'm talking to the NFL, and that's enough. My presence is enough. No, presence ain't a thing no more. We got over that representation shit in the 60s. If you ain't pushing the level, if you ain't changing the conversation about what black people are suffering through, I don't give a damn if you're at the table. You're wasting a space. You're wasting a space. You could be Bell or you could be Cori Bush. White money replaced Cori Bush with William Bell for a reason. We need more Cori Bush at the table. We need less of these soft-ass black people who just comfortable being comfortable by themselves. Them Negroes who ain't looking for dark-skinned neighbors. We need black people that's going to scream all the time, not when it just affects them. We need black people that's going to say something to their white neighbors or their white party members. Black people who going to look at white Democrats and say, yo, that's a fucked up idea. We're not going to take a knee about Kente Cloth if we can't take a knee about saying black people need reparations. We need Kente Cloth policies, not performance. We need policies that's going to address white supremacy at every level. We need to stop spending the majority of our money. We need to be pissed off that the Democratic Party, our party, put a white man in charge in 2026 when white men ain't voted majority for Democrats in ever since black people have been allowed to seat. We ain't seen black people. We ain't seen white men over here in any significant numbers. Am I tripping? Am I tripping? Yeah, we got all the fucking fire for Republicans, and that's fine. But I ain't talking about those problems. I'm talking about our problems on our side of the aisle. So-called progressives that leave people behind. How the fuck are you progressive and you willing to leave people behind? You can't be progressive if you're willing to leave marginalized folk behind of any color, of any gender, any religion. We out here playing games and people dying. Carmelo Anthony's life is on the line. He was bullied by those two white boys. That's how he got in this situation. And now he's being bullied by the justice system when they gave him an all-white jury. And we up here talking about rich black folk and who's going to brunch with who. Don't invite me to your brunch. Rashida said we have a bunch of us willing to worry about the wrong thing. That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm gonna tell you how ancestral this shit is. We got people that we know ain't doing a damn thing, talking about they doing activations or they sucking up space from white donors because white donors like them and the way they tap dance for them. And they keep getting all these resources and they ain't doing nothing for our people, showing up to other people events, acting like they planned them and they did them. And because of that, and because they comfortable and they got, they got black in their name, so they must be right. Hell no, man. We out here getting killed. And people ain't doing a damn thing about it. And some of them look like us. For me, it's time out on all that. You ain't reached out to black men. You ain't did nothing serious. You cannot talk to me. You cannot talk to me. You cannot talk to me about anything if you're playing lax. Don't come over here because somebody sent you. Because I'm gonna call you out. We ain't got no immigrant problem. In the black community, we don't have ain't no immigrants taking our job. Ain't no immigrants taking our jobs. The immigrant problem we have is that they are targeting another people of color to do harm. And don't talk to me. I agree 100%, Rashida. We got people talking about immigrants as if immigrants are our problems. Like they wrote a policy, a single policy to discriminate against your ass. Don't talk to me about the people who vote how they vote. That's an individual act. I'm not talking about how immigrants vote. I'm talking to you about being duped by some bullshit created by Republicans, racist people. You got racist people telling you what you should and shouldn't think. How they vote ain't our problem. What is our problem is these laws that's killing us, that has an outsourced, I should say an oversized impact on our lives. Don't come to me using Republican or Russian talking points. And that shit might sound far-fetched and like, oh, this nigga talking about Republican. These are Republican and racist Russian talking points meant to put divisive tactics and talking points in our community to destroy our political power. And y'all out here using them on a daily basis. That's a fact. Here's what I'm telling you though. And I need my party because I'm a lifelong Democrat. Here's what I'm telling my party. If we were on our shit, if you're on your business, this is what we say where I'm from, in my hood. A man can't take my woman if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And if he does, she was not my woman. If a party can't take your voters if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing for your voters. And if they do, those weren't your voters. So what I'm saying to the Democratic Party is stop chasing people that's showing you that they're not interested in you. You going after white conservative men trying to convince them that they don't need to be conservative ain't gonna work. These people already showed you they will cut their nose off to spite their face. They voted Trump back in even though he make their lives more expensive and harder. They don't care as long as they get to say whiteness is good. Stop going after that and invest in people that you know will support you 9 times out of 10. Invest in a program that's black men. And I ain't talking about that bullshit you've been doing. You can't tell me it works. You know, I received a call after every election about the work. Let's be clear. This is 2026. The shit of past cannot be allowed to be couched as working tactics right now. We must do something different. We are obligated to be prepared for the moment. And what I'm seeing thus far in 2026 is that we are not prepared. The same people, the same heads, the same pundits are on the news saying the same bullshit. I'm tired of seeing these same bullshit ass polls about black men like y'all telling me something different. It don't matter. Matter of fact, none of y'all got more report data on black men than me. And I'll say that to any organization in this country. And I'm talking about the right black men. I'm not talking about the stupid ass super voters. And I'm not calling them stupid. I'm saying that them focusing all your resources on people who vote every election is a way to cheat the system. Because if these people are going to vote every election, then why do you need to tell them to go vote? Why are you not spending resources on the people who may not vote? Why are you not trying to build relationship to see what you're doing that they're not hearing? Why are you not sharing with those people a year, 2 years before the election about the shit that you're doing for their lives that could benefit them? Not in a savior complex or a savior way, but in a way that's realistic. Because you don't feel that their value is enough to reach you or for you to reach them in that manner. You guys are comfortable being comfortable. Comfortable being comfortable. If we put our egos aside, we can win elections. If we put our egos aside, Mississippi wouldn't be a red state. If we invested listening to people and not bullshit ass pundits who don't even know a single black person in Mississippi Delta, in Arkansas, in Eastern Texas, and I ain't talking about Houston and Dallas. I'm talking about for real East, the 32 counties that are out there where black men, when they see us on that door, they surprised like hell, like ain't nobody ever knocked on my door for no campaign. You can't tell me that the black candidates are getting right when I can show you numbers right now in every black member of Congress that's a black man. I can show you the horrible performance of the black men in their district. Did you hear what I just said? So if it's about sexism, and I'm not saying that black men, there ain't a certain number of black men that are misogynistic, because that we know that's the case. But what I'm saying is black men ain't just out here super voting for black men. Look at, I could show you James Clyburn district and how bad he does because black men don't see themselves in the bullshit he's saying. That's a fact. I can show you how bad Horsford, who's the chair of the CBC, how bad he's doing with black men. I can show you the district in New York that's no longer held by my friend Jamal Bowman, but black men, their performance in that district. I can show you Hakeem Jeffries, who's the highest ranking black man in Congress. I can show you how bad he's doing with black men in his district. This is black men rejecting the idea that you can play in their face in this manner and expect so much of them. This is black men saying that you can't keep giving me an all-white jury, even though I'm protecting myself. I cannot fight the system, the judicial system, that's trying to give me first-degree murder and also fight to keep you in office. I cannot fight the education system that's trying to tell my preschooler he's aggressive or suspend or expel him. I cannot fight the system that's telling my 18 and 16-year-old black boy that they should be dead by cop more than anybody else. And also the NAACP telling them to give up their scholarship or their NIL money, even though they're the first in our family to get accepted to a college. This is our first opportunity to leave in poverty. Your politics don't make sense to people living on the margins. Y'all politics are killing black men, and yet you want us to give us everything. This is dastardly behavior. And in 2026, for the rest of 2026, all I'm doing is screaming the bullshit. I'm screaming bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. You don't even know who influenced or influences of black men. And the you I'm talking about is the proverbial political consultant or the party or the party's auxiliaries. And I know that because you guys keep bringing the same stupid faces and they ain't the ones. You guys are afraid of the black men who are influencers for black men. Y'all don't even know some of their names. The influencers for black men, y'all don't even know them. And then the moment you got access to them, you're just going to try to do something that's what the kids be saying now. They don't say ick. What they say? They say it's Tanika. I'm trying to figure out what my niece be saying. I can't remember what she was saying. Cringe. Y'all cringe. Y'all politics is cringe. That's what they be saying. Y'all politics are cringe for black men. And unless you guys are willing to sit down and talk about it, and I also listen. I'm streaming to 6 different platforms right now. 6 different platforms. People are watching me all over. Rashid, I know you laugh because I'm old as shit. I just showed my age. I am. So, but their politics is cringe. So listen, 6 different platforms. If anybody believes that they know somebody that can tell me where I'm wrong about black men and the tactics that people are deploying, tag that person and tell that person, come talk to me. I'll go live. And if that person has, bring that person on and we can have this conversation. Bring that entity on, bring those people on. Anybody in this country that want to talk black man politics to me, I'm here for it. 100%. Any of them at any moment. If they're a politician, if they work for a consultant firm, if they work for a polling firm, if they work for anybody, if they're reporters, if they're journalists, if they own their network, anybody. And I bet you they can't tell you the facts that I can tell you when it comes to black men and why black men aren't voting. It's just bullshit. That ain't me being arrogant. It's me saying no more. It's time out for all these so-called leaders who ain't nobody in our community named leader. Motherfuckers get popular on the internet for some shit. They went viral for some shit, or they funny, they're comedians, and now they automatically get to have the automatic right to say anything they want to our people. What kind of goofy shit is that? That's like somebody can make hair grease. make some shit that's amazing for my hair, so they get to become a spokesman for my politics because I like your product. You get to speak on my behalf, even if what you're saying is anti-me. Somebody can dribble or shoot or dunk. So now that person automatically is a leader in my community. They get to determine my politics, even though the majority of those athletes and actors aren't voters. When we was doing the work around turning basketball stadiums and football stadium fields into polling locations after COVID was ending, when I heard these numbers, 70, 80% of NBA and NFL players had not voted, were not voters, most of them weren't registered, and now y'all willing to give these people space simply because they got a check beside their name because they're famous? People who have never ran a campaign or worked with a candidate or know what a win number is are determining what's our strategies? I'm trying to figure out what we got going on. Do we care more about somebody saying something funny that's going to make us laugh, or somebody trolling that's going to be entertaining, that's going to set the algorithm on fire? Or do we give a fuck about what's happening in our community? Do we care about people that are suffering because our politics are failing them? Are we paying attention to the needs of our brothers and sisters in the real world? Are we? Do we care? Do we care? I'm asking y'all, do we care? Do we care? I don't think we do. Because if we did, ain't no way in hell we'd be sitting out here letting these so-called people call themselves leaders. There's no way in hell we would allow these people to show up and treat our people in this way. I think we need to do something about it. We need to call bullshit on the bullshit. We need to call bullshit on the bullshit. You cannot make decisions for poor, working class, and middle income black folk anymore without our say so. My mama just came on live, so I got to stop. I'm just joking, Mom. Don't get upset. My mom's up here, so I'm gonna stop cursing as much. I'm also gonna hop off. I'll be back later, guys. But I want y'all to think. I want y'all to think seriously. When are we gonna say you don't speak on our behalf and we start punishing the people that support them and elevate them? I see some of these so-called progressive sites, these Facebook pages and other pages, sharing posts from D.L. Hughley and talking about black people who are criticizing the NAACP. Yeah, we got Rashida. We gotta get right when the people come around. You know how it is. Old folks still to get you in order. I'm gray-haired and long in the tooth and 47 years old, and my mama still got something to say about how I show up. She should. She made me. Her and my dad. I'm cool with that. But I'm being honest with my people. And my people, here are my people. My people are black people that care about black people, white, brown, and other people who care about people and black people. If you don't care about black people, I don't give a damn what your race is. I don't care if you're related to me blood-wise. You can't be my people. People that care about people are my people. And you can't tell me you care about people if you support Republican. You can't tell me that you care about people if your policies allow you to pick and choose your battles. I don't pick and choose battles. I fight every time, every opportunity I get to stand up against some form of supremacy or misogynist or any ist. I'm up there running my mouth about it because that's what it means. That's what it's going to take in this moment. 100%. That skin folk shit, that shit was cool when we knew who was on our side. When we knew who was fighting beside us, when we knew what skin folk and kin folk meant. Now we don't know. There's some white people out here that's acting like kin folk. And there's some skin folk out here acting like supremacists. So to be clear, your skin will not get you in the club that I'm trying to be in. And that club is the Equity fucking Fighting Club. And in this particular moment, I'm standing and screaming about what's happening to Black men in the United States of America, as another one is set to be treated as if he is less than by this all-white jury in Texas, and ain't nobody talking about it in a way that we should. And that's enough to make all of us tremble, or at least it should. I'm Mundell Robinson. Y'all have a good day, but not before you think about it.